Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and I'm so excited about today's video because it is the Firebird Chronicles Readalong announcement, and I'm sure all of you have already seen stuff at Noveltea Corner's announcement video. It's on her channel. We're doing the read-along there just like we did all of the Ilona Andrews read-alongs, right? Ilona Andrews, right? We're on the same page here, right? So I'm sure you already watched that. But I am the one that has read this entire series and that begged and pleaded and was like, please do this read along on your channel. Let me be there. And Steph, of course, was like, yes. And so history was made. I am so hyped. I'm so ready to reread these books. I'm so excited. This is a sci-fi romance with a lot of political intrigue and political machinations and all of the nitty-gritty little things of outsmarting each other. And I know it's machinations. I'm a reader, okay? I got it from reading. Let me live, please. Yeah, mainly outsmarting each other. And I inhaled this during the Love of the Night readathon in the fall round. And I read the entire series back to back to back. I read all 5 books that are currently out in 3 or 4 days. And I was just obsessed. So I'm really excited to reread these one at a time and kind of separate them out one from another, because I finished reading one and read the next, and that works really well for this series because each book does pick up immediately where the one before it left off. So it's so easy to just keep going all the way through. But this is basically Kate Daniels in Space is by far the most Ilona Andrews like writing and characters that I have found that was not Ilona Andrews themselves, and I would put this right up there with them. It is just as good. T.A. White is a new favorite author for me. I am making my way through their entire backlist. I am obsessed. This, I do think, is their best series, and I do think that the series continues to get better as you go through it. So the first book, I was hooked from the very beginning. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely inhaled it. I mean, we're talking like first chapter, I was like, oh, I am into this. But I will say, I do think it gets better and better, and you do get more and more of the romance as the series goes on. By book 5, they've already been together for a book or 2, so you're not like super dragging it out. But they also like don't really give into each other in the first couple of books either. And there are a bunch of editing me is gonna be like, you know this word. Extenuating? That's not right. Circumstances? There's extra stuff going on, right? And there's especially extra stuff going on for the way that the hero ends up treating the main character. Again, not like terrible. No, he is not like bad to her, but just like some of the manipulation and like backing her into a corner to kind of force her to choose between the options he wants her to have. Oh, I'm so into it. I'm so into it. And I kind of like that that's like not just who he is all of the time, but it's who he will be if needed. So basically we have a human. I mean, you figure out pretty quickly that things are not adding up here, but you have a human who believes that all of their differences are because they were experimented on as a child. So there is a content warning for that. They were in this like super secret base where all the kids were experimented on and were trained and all of this stuff. So there was kind of think sci-fi Black Widow. So she's been through a lot. She gets rescued from that as an early teenager, goes straight into the military, joins this war effort against this alien species, and gives her all as in a special unit, you know, in the war. And the war has been over. She has been able to be discharged basically as part of her keep everything quiet agreement, and she has been a loner ever since. She's a scavenger. She, you know, goes to crashed spaceships and gets metal and stuff from it, and she has a robot companion. Now I will say I hate robots. They creep me out. I don't like AI as a concept, as a moral ethical dilemma. I don't like any of the things, but like on top of that, it really creeps me out so incredibly badly. So I can't do it. as soon as there's a robot, I'm noping out of there. However, this one again is a little bit different and doesn't creep me out and is like completely different. It's like a little bot.
It's a droid. I'm describing a droid. I'm not exactly sure why I couldn't come up with that. It's a flying droid. That's it.
It's not humanoid shape or anything like that, but it does have a consciousness, and again, in a way that is completely different and doesn't creep me out. And I'm not going to tell you more than that, but is a very big part of it. So it's just her and her little robot. And they are floating around the universe, and my dog is barking. All right, I have absolutely no idea where I was or what I was talking about, but it's just the two of them, and they're going around, and they end up having to go to this port to get parts or something. I don't remember. They're kind of forced into going to this port, and she doesn't really want to go to this port because people who know her are there, and she ends up rescuing a couple of children. And as soon as she sees that they're gonna die, she's like, well, this is going to screw me over so bad. I know that my peaceful anonymity is about to tank. However, like, I'm not gonna watch these kids die, so here we are. So she does, and that sets off a intercontinental, even though it's not continents, you know what I'm saying, we're sci-fi, we're worlds, intergalactic incident, right? Because these children are part of a diplomatic group of these other aliens, and she kind of has a little bit of animosity for this group because in the war they completely stayed out of it. They didn't help humanity or their kind of joint enemy, so she like doesn't love them, but she ends up like thrown in to the limelight in front of them by rescuing their children. And the general guy of this group is like, things fishy, and so he ends up maneuvering things, and her like former commanding officer ends up maneuvering things, so she has to go with them or she'll be responsible for the breakdown of the treaty. And like, they need this treaty that is starting to happen because the aliens that they fought before, she knows are coming back. She like has proof of it. So because of all that, she's like, I literally cannot be the reason that this treaty doesn't happen, because if it doesn't happen, like, humanity's not going to survive round two, and I can't be the reason for that. So even though every fiber of my being hates everything about what is happening right now, I have to go with them, and she does.
Mind you, everything that I've talked about happens in like the first 2 chapters of book 1. 5 books. I read 5 books. Everything I've described so far happens in the first 2 chapters of book 1.
And then their society is divided into different houses, which is done, of course, by your family group, and then like a large house can have smaller houses be a part of it, and it's a political entity, and it's basically like a city-state, and you know, they have a lot of power and influence, and she is going to kind of fall into the middle of all of that while also learning more about her own history and her childhood and why kind of all of that was happening to her, finding out different things about her own health and about her friends, and just like the time to hide and be a loner is over, and she is desperate to try to get that back. And the general guy is basically playing chess with her, trying to prevent that from happening. And then there's a lot of found family element. I'm smiling so bad because I love it so much. There's a lot of found family element. There's a lot of politics between the houses and between this whole alien species and the humans, and she's, you know, kind of caught in the middle of all sorts of different directions, and I am so thrilled that we are going to be reading it. Like I said, there's a lot of politics, a lot of romance, a lot of action. There's just such good stuff in this. It's a new all-time favorite for me. I cannot wait to reread it, and I am so hopeful that book 6 comes out this year because I just want to know what happens next. Because let me tell you, I want to know what happens next, okay? So our very first live show is happening on Saturday, March 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here are the rest of the dates for the live shows. And our fellow co-hosts are basically, it's the co-hosts of the Love in the Night readathon. So it's on Steph's channel, Noveltea Corner. That's the number one most important thing. That's where all the live shows are. But we will also be talking with Shay at Shay Geeks Out, Robin at Paperbacks and Planners, Megan at Meowth Vader, and Izzy at Happy for Now. It'll just depend who is available for what live show, but I am very hopeful that all my friends love this as much as I do, and I already have like a good feeling about it because Steph read the first couple and loved it too, so I'm like already a win. All right, listen. You should read this with me. It's so good. Literally one of my absolute favorites of 2024. The whole series. Love this author. Love everything about it. You name it, the element is done excellently. And I am so excited to talk to everybody about it because I just love it so much. The most difficult thing for you, I feel like, is if you only read one book a month. That's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to wait. It is. Yeah, I am geeked. So this is going to be going, you know, for the next few months, and I am thrilled to pieces about it. Real quick, I just want to show you guys my journal read-along spread with all my phoenixes, because there's a reason why it's called the Firebird Chronicles. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. I love it. Worth buying every little thing. Let me know if you have read or want to read this, if you're going to participate in the read-along, if you have other political sci-fi romance for me, because let me tell you, this has led me down a rabbit hole, and I've read many, which you're getting a recommendation video from me very soon on sci-fi romance. So I'm so excited. I really hope that some of you decide to read this with us because what an experience. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.